Yes.
because not proper to travel when situation is bad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, all of
So,
you are to, all of
so
you also stay at home, please.
yes, sir. So yesterday you had mentioned, sir, we didn't get a chance to discuss when the Bombay blast people had come to you for the to take the brief. How did you politely decline, sir? That is the
Uh,
main. How, that is the main crux. How you managed to decline and people don't get angry.
yeah, yeah, I declined it. I have been successful in that. I'll let you. I will let you know when after the lectures. I'll
Okay,
let
sir.
like, 1 minute. I'll just put the uh, aeroplane made. Yeah, I put it on a aeroplane. Aeroplane. Yeah. You all can see me, no?
Yes, sir. Visual and audio both are very clear.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, let us complete the question papers. Which question paper we have completed yesterday?
With
201.
201, 2017 we finished, sir.
17. Which month? April, I think. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. No, we will take from 2017 November का peak paper है हमारे पास, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
We have a November paper. We'll take it. Yes. Yeah. Please come back to November paper. November 102017. Uh, yeah. This starts uh, on whom the burden of proof lies. On whom the burden of proof lies. This I have shown to you. Section 101. Because both CRPC and CPC do not much contain the provision with regard to burden of proof. Uh, of course, Section Order 18 CPC tells you right to begin, isn't it? Right to begin that tells you. But Evidence Act contains elaborate provisions in the burden of proof. They are commencing from Section 101 onwards. That is Part 3 of the Constitution. 101 से लेकर 101 to 111A. Then also that is a burden of proof in a case. Now let us see if we want go through the section very well.
So, but for 2 marks, what should we write? Because it is very confusing because they
Yeah,
ask
yeah.
questions like this.
Uh, Whoever asserts the rights, whoever asserts the legal rights, he has to begin. Just
Okay, sir.
just open this section. I'll tell you right now how to
It's
begin.
open, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, 101. When you open, see, whoever desires the court to give a judgment as to any general right or liability, depending upon the existence of facts which he asserted, must prove that those facts exist. So, it is the plaintiff who asserts the legal rights of declaration, he should prove it. Huh? But if the defendant asserts that the court has no jurisdiction, then he will have to prove it. The burden slightly will shift upon it. Like in criminal prosecution, it is the public prosecutor who will prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. But if the accused takes up the plea that he is uh, claiming some of the general exception, then Section 105 will apply. The burden will shift. So the law is whoever asserts a legal rights or disability, liability, the onus is upon him.
Yes, sir.
Sanjay?
So, but sir, in criminal case, why will the defendant lead evidence and say that I fall under exceptions and not
Because
let the public
because
prosecutor prove the case?
the accused will take up the plea. I was suffering from insanity.
Okay, so in his mind, he knows that the case is beyond
If
reasonable doubt.
if
Yes.
a special defense is taken, like under Section 84 of the Indian Penal Code, the act was done in grave sudden provocation. है ना उसके अंदर? I was
Yes, sir.
insanity के अंदर a child. I was suffering from insanity. A person who is insane is not capable of knowing the nature of the act. He will not be convicted. So, but the burden to prove that insanity and grave provocation is upon the accused. The burden will shift. That is why Section 105 पढ़ लेना बाद में आप. So 101 is subject to Section 105. Huh? And sometimes they ask you a question, what about special knowledge? A person has a special knowledge. That is, special knowledge is within him, section 106. Like the example of a railway ticket holder. If you go in a train and you are caught by TT, you don't have produce ticket, but you tell him, I had taken it. That the burden is upon you to prove. The railway administration doesn't have to prove that you never had ticket. And you had a ticket, you have to prove it. That is special knowledge is
Ye-
with you.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So, यहाँ पे section 101, when you see whoever asserts special knowledge, he must prove that. Then just slightly come to order 18 CPC. CPC आपके पास खोल लीजिए. I will just take my
Yes,
seat.
sir.
Order 18 खोलें. Under order 18, there is a provision which says that the right to begin, isn't it? Who should begin?
So,
Yes.
hearing of
1 minute. Yeah. Order 18 CPC खोल ले. Order 18.
hearing of the suit and examination of
Yes.
witnesses.
Yes. I will tell you. Yes. Let me just, yeah. Yeah. Hearing of the suit examination. See, the plaintiff has a right to begin. See, it is
Yes,
starting
sir.
order 18. The plaintiff has a right to begin unless the defendant admits the fact alleged by the plaintiff and contends that neither point of law, either in point of law or on some additional fact alleged by the defendant, that the plaintiff is not entitled to any part of the relief. Like I told you, A executes a bond in favor of B, B admits the bond. That is admission. Okay? The plaintiff did not do. But the B takes up the plea. The signature has been
Which is
taken
false.
fraudulently.
Yeah.
But the signature has been taken fraudulently.
Yes, sir.
So the fraud part, who has to plead? Defendant has to plead. So the plaintiff need not plead because there is admission. No, you learned under the provisions of order 10 and 12 CPC, what are admission? If a person admit, now also in Evidence Act section 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, they deal with admission. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So when there is admission, the plaintiff need not lead evidence. So section 101 के हिसाब से, the burden will shift upon the defendant. The defendant is admitting the execution of the deed, but he only says, my signature has been obtained fraudulently. Defendant called me to his house. He gave me a drink, khilaya pilaya. He made me sign. I did not know where I was signing it. So it is up to you to prove. समझे ना आप? The defendant takes up the plea. The court has no jurisdiction to entertain the present suit. Or defendant takes up the plea. The suit is barred by res judicata. आप CPC में पढ़े ना?
Yes, sir. So, but supposing, sir, ऐसे करके कि sir, somebody takes the house and all the wealth, then also it's not a defense कि why a sane man will just give away his house and all his wealth just like that to somebody else for no reason. There is no cause for giving away uh, what the other person is claiming has been given.
That in that case where the wealth is given away and not given away, the burden will shift upon the person to assert that it was given.
Yes, sir.
The burden will shift upon the person. So that is the meaning. It's very quite simple concept to understand. Section 101, I read with order 18. So prosecution also clearly is simple it is. It is always the burden is upon the state to prove the case. They are beyond reasonable doubt because
Yes,
in the criminal prosecution, the standard of liabilities evidence is more stricter than in civil cases. That is why preponderance of possibilities are applicable only to civil cases and not strictly to criminal cases. I mean, the court
Yes,
cannot proceed on the basis of preponderance of possibilities. Normally in criminal cases, it applies to civil cases. So That is how it is. This concept is very clean. The prosecution will start the case. Police has started the case. Let the state prove it. But if the accused takes up the plea, I was suffering from insanity, or I cannot be tried, he takes up the plea under Article 20, Subclause 2. This particular offence was not in existence at the time when the offence was committed. Post facto facts पढ़े ना आपने Article
Yes,
20 के अंदर. So
Yes,
then the burden will shift upon the accused to prove that, yes, the government of Maharashtra, for example, a person magic offence. Magic was not an offence prior to about 5-6 years ago. So the police is lodging a case. You are doing magic and deceiving people. So the legislation with regard to magic came recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, in Maharashtra at least.
So why so late?
It came late because magic itself was not an offence. Magic was not considered. But especially the cases of those gentlemen, Dhabolkar, judgment Dhabolkar, and all those people died, then the magical act came. You know that now? These are the people, you must be reading a newspaper. The
Yes, sir.
journalists were killed and all.
Yes, sir.
So that act was made applicable. So the accused, if he takes up the plea, at the time of the commission of the offence, this magic was not an offence, he will be let off. The accused, he has to lead evidence. Why should the... That is his contention. That is called general exceptions. So they are starting in the Indian Penal Code that you learned. I won't that you go through again. Okay. So the burden of proof is a story is quite simple. It will a person who asserts the legal right. If you file a suit for declaration that you are the owner, you have to prove ownership.
Yes, sir.
The plaintiff has to prove. If the defendants, I take up the plea, the court has no jurisdiction, then I have to pray. I should say, then I will take up the plea that the suit is barred by res judicata. Earlier suit is disposed of on the same line. Then the defendant ke upar burden jayega. The defendant will produce before the court certified copy of the judgment claimed in the earlier suit. समझे ना आप?
Yes, sir.
That is how it is. Yes. That is, this question is clear. Yes. Next, देख लीजिए. When facts not otherwise relevant become relevant. That is section 11. Oh, isn't it? Including alibi evidence. We read it here. When facts not otherwise relevant become relevant. If they are inconsistent with the fact in issue or relevant fact. Normally, you learn from section 1 to 10. Section 5 told you, you lead evidence with regard to facts in issue. 1 minute. Something is troubling here. Lead evidence with regard to fact in issue. Which facts are there? If you are a plaintiff, you cannot lead inconsistent evidence normally in the plaint. And your evidence must be consistent with the pleadings and the issues. But at the time when leading evidence, some inconsistency may crop up. So you are permitted to lead the evidence of inconsistency in the circumstances laid down in section 11. Please go to that. Is when the question asked is alibi evidence comes under section 11. That is, illustrations are very clear. The question whether he committed a crime in Calcutta on certain day, the fact that he was at Lahore is relevant. Though the crime is committed in Calcutta, other side, why should he should be allowed to lead evidence of Lahore? That is permitted, though it's inconsistent. Such inconsistency is allowed here. Then illustration B is also circumstances such that a crime has been committed by A, B, C or D. Every fact that shows that crime could have been committed by no one else and that could have been committed by B, C, D elsewhere. So in a compartment or in a jail, accused number A, B, C, D are there. And one of them is dead. So presumption will rise that out of these 4 people, one of them have killed it. So the third person may take up the plea that here I had gone for a stroll, I had gone on a duty, I had gone on a parole, I was not there. So you are allowed to lead inconsistent evidence which is not in conformity with the charge which is framed. If that inconsistency is which is otherwise not relevant becomes subsequently relevant, maybe at the stage of the prosecution, at the stage when the case is called, it may not be relevant. That is the section 11. Remember, Garo, please, very important section. Next. Yeah. What facts can be proved by oral evidence? That you are given. Yesterday we learned it, section 59. Again, to recap your memory. What facts can be proved is given to you under section 59, and what cannot be proved is also mentioned there. 59 tells you, see, all facts except the content of documents, electronic record can be proved by oral evidence. So remember section 59. It is the starting point of oral evidence. Because oral evidence, you prove it by what you have seen from your own eyes. And not the contents of a document which you received from email messages, from your friends sitting in America, forwarding message to you. That you cannot, that is not your own message. It's a message of somebody else. It is transmitted to you. So those documents you can prove under the provisions of a section, under the section 65B. That is electronic evidence. Then also you learn, you cannot prove the contents of the contents of a document. Section 91, 92 kal pade humne. How the contents of a document are to be proved. When document is on record before the court, you will not be allowed to lead normally oral evidence. But the proviso 1, 2, 3 to 92 permits you to lead evidence when there's a fraud is set up. Isn't it? When there was assurance by you, when there's a novatio of contract, given to you. Boliye. Anybody has any question?
No, sir.
Next. In civil cases, when admissions are not relevant, see, admissions are applicable to both civil as well as criminal cases. Please note that. And admissions are not, and confessions are only applicable to criminal cases. Now, यहाँ पे admission कहता है कि section, it is not relevant when one of the party writes a letter to other that I can pay you rent without prejudice to my rights and contention, or hold a meeting that without prejudice to rights and contention in our case. So suppose you must have seen that if your father, a society, anybody is a landlord, owner, when anybody giving you notice, you receive it received without prejudice to my rights. Many trust people, when they have filed suits against the licensees and the occupant tenant, they say that here, when rent is tendered or a compensation paid, received without prejudice. That means you will be allowed to lead evidence without accepting the contents of the notice. So, during the pendency of a trial or suit, the court may tell you both the parties may settle the matter. Now, there's a provision under the CPC, parties should go for a lok adalat, isn't it? And hold meeting, सब कुछ करके आओ.
Yes, sir.
CPC के अंदर पढ़े हैं section 79, 80 और सब पढ़े आपने.
Alternate dispute resolution.
So whatever discussion which has taken place before the lok adalat, if the matter is not settled, matter will come back to the court. So whatever is recorded before the judge who conducted the proceedings in lok adalat cannot
not valid.
That is section 23 of the Evidence Act. Please note that. Section 23 clearly tells you of the Evidence Act when admissions are not binding in civil cases. So remember this. Admission in civil cases when relevant. In civil cases, no admission is relevant if it is made either upon an express condition that evidence of it is not being given under circumstances from which the court can infer that the parties agreed together that the evidence should not be given. So by consent, it's like a arbitral proceeding. Huh? Both the parties can choose a venue. Both the parties can choose an arbitrator. Who should be arbitrator, who should not be. The only condition, odd number, 1, 3, 5, 7. You cannot take even number. You may change the place of a venue from Mumbai to Calcutta, London. Now, Justice Nariman judgment recently given, I sent it to you. Even in domestic arbitration matters, by consent, parties can go to Geneva, that is which is normally internationally a venue. By consent, you can go anywhere, no problem. That is one of the matter which went from Ahmedabad High Court, the Gujarat High Court. It's a beautiful judgment I had sent on the net. Go through that. By consent, the parties can take away the matter, domestic arbitration matters in part 1, to even Switzerland and England, which is normally a venue agreed by the parties in the international arbitration. So similarly, here under section 23, the parties agree whatever we discuss in this meeting will not be binding. So by consent, the parties can exclude their evidence, exclude the applicability of the evidence. This is only one case. Yes, go ahead.
So prenuptial agreements are valid in India?
No, there is no such law in India.
So then how they could take the matter to Switzerland?
No, under that law with regard to marriages, you cannot take it up. That is a contractual obligation under the money payable.
Okay.
No. Prenuptial, India has no legislation, unlike USA and other countries, prenuptial agreement. You are strictly governed by your Hindu Marriage Act, and Muslims are under the Muslim, Parsis under the Parsi law, then generally is a Special Marriage Act. Okay? Whatever condition laid down in Special Marriage Act, you have to go by, and there is no prenuptial agreement which cannot be enforced. They will come under section 23 of the Indian Contract Act. Means it is against the policy of law. It cannot be enforced. A law which cannot be enforced. So don't be under, if somebody comes to you, please make prenuptial arrangement. Don't worry, I will make, don't do that.
Okay.
It is not applicable.
Sir, section 23 explanation why they have categorically hit at all the lawyers and vakils and advocates. Why are those people being? Yes, sir.
Which one? Sorry.
So section 23 explanation. Why have the legal people been targeted, sir?
No, nothing targeting. Nothing in the section shall be taken to exempt any barrister, pleader, attorney, or vakil from giving evidence of any matter of which he may be compelled to give evidence under 126. So, if in the meeting, if it had discussed that here, one of the client will forge the letter and submit to the bank in a bill of exchange case, advocate can give that is not a privileged communication. Anything illegally spoken, please note that anything illegally spoken, it doesn't give you license to not to give evidence. Something which is legally spoken, please note that when
how will we decide, sir, what is legally spoken, what is illegally spoken?
Suppose, for example, the parties A and B, they must be transaction with regard to some, say for example, related to some property. In the meeting, if the A suggests here, we will maybe the property of C, who is not a party, is coming into picture. One of the party will suggest here, we will encroach upon this property and we will not let him know. We will make a document including his property in our property. That is an illegal act. Isn't it? So the parties may have illegally agreed to not to give evidence. If investigation is conducted, tomorrow the C says that here, in pursuant of the illegal contract and agreement, these people entered into, and the property of C has encroached and documents have been forged and submitted for registration, such communication is not protected, and such transaction also hit by the provisions of 126. Isn't it? Any illegal transaction is hit by unprivileged. That cannot be protected. You are only protected with regard to transactions which are legally acceptable in the eyes of law. You can be exempted not to me without prejudice. Doesn't mean that it doesn't give you license to abet the crime. समझे ना?
Yes, sir.
There can be a civil crime too. You may take up the plea tomorrow. I will forge the signature of my grandfather and withdraw money and pay you. That is a crime, isn't it?
Yes,
There
sir.
may be arbitration matter going on in your family. issue of dispute hota rahega. Somebody is appointed arbitrator. Both the parties hold a meeting. Two brothers agree that our grandfather is too old, 97 years old. A old man doesn't require money and will fabricate the signature and withdraw money. That is an illegal act.
Yes, sir.
Such matter had come to me like this. I had done where grandsons were kind of cheating the grandfather. When you become a lawyer, you come to know all these cases. Okay, next question में आ जाइए. So because from the language of section 126, what is protected? A client comes and tell the lawyer, sir, that I am involved in a commission of a murder or a robbery or a rape case. This is a charge sheet filed against me. Please defend for me. Then this communication is protected because this story about the pending case is committed prior to engaging the lawyer. He accepts the brief. Then next week he tells that I also intend to commit another crime. I intend to commit the crime and I like to teach a lesson to the girl who has filed a rape case against me. I will attack her with acid. To teach her a lesson so that she will be terrorized and she will withdraw the case.
So as a lawyer, sir, you should immediately
Yes,
leave
a
the
lawyer
brief.
should protect that communication is not protected. In fact, the lawyer should tell him not to do that. In fact, if he doesn't listen, the lawyer should go and file a FIR. समझे ना आप? That communication is not protected. That is in furtherance of a crime. Just to teach her a lesson to withdraw the case which she has filed, he cannot take up the plea. I will retaliate as a counterblast. I will take acid and throw her on her face. I will ask her first withdraw the case. If you don't withdraw the case, I will throw acid on your face or I will destroy your family. This is not acceptable. This is a criminal crime. So this communication which the client may have had with the advocate is unprotected under explanation 2 and 3 to section 126. That we are ready here. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear one? All of you, nobody is saying clear.
It's very clear, sir. I'm more worried that
Yes,
I will
sir.
get it.
It's clear.
I will get into a soup with.
I would be happy to hear more voices. Everybody affirming. I thought everybody is sitting आराम से समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Wondering what the professor.
No, sir. We are listening to what you're saying.
Okay,
We are understanding, so we are not interrupting you.
Yeah, good. I'm glad.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are listening, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Next question.
Thank you.
Personally, sir, I'm getting worried that if these kind of people keep coming
So
in.
don't worry. Don't give such wrong advices to anybody. If somebody comes to you to say, I will do illegal act, you persuade him, please don't do such thing. And if you do persist, I will lodge a FIR. I might not only return your case, and I will also become an informer against you. That should be your approach. Okay? Just because your client is paid you, you cannot defend a dishonest and client or a client who has criminal tendencies. Okay?
I'm more worried that he'll throw the acid on me, sir. That is what I'm worried about.
No, politely handle him. Politely handle him. I told you one of the client cases, when I told him I didn't want to appear. That is one of the cases which is I know. I told you. The client had come to me. I told him I will not be able to take up the matter because the daughter of a judge was my student. I did not pass her. She failed, and the matter will go against you because you may not receive a proper order. He was said, you are a great lawyer. You are a very honest lawyer.
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to take it. You have to politely say that. So I had to take that because that is one of the bomb blast cases I told you that. One of the Kokri murder case, JJ murder case, they had come to me about 15, 20 years ago. This was the contention. My wife was worried. These people are come here. They look very gunda type. Why are you taking up this matter? They brought money also. So I went through the matter and kept it. I called them next day and I told him politely, your case is maybe good, but I can pay. But the problem is that it's coming up before a judge, whose my terms are not good with him because his daughter, who was my student, I have failed her. So of course it is. So I do not want your matter to suffer because of that. He became immensely happy. I said, Sachi, you are an honest lawyer. So when I returned the entire matter, sir, you keep some fees. No, 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 I will not keep any fees. You are like a brother to me. So I returned the entire matter, returned fees also. You should not take even the fees of such people. Please note that.
Yes, sir. Yes,
If
sir.
you find the client is unscrupulous, throw it out. Huh? प्यार से निकल जाने का, not to antagonize him, because these criminals can do anything and they will not do anything to you if you give them due respect and they don't charge them unnecessarily and give them frank advice. Otherwise, there are cases where the gangsters have gunned down their own lawyers because the lawyers have taken money from them in the name of police, other side, and the judges. Justice is not delivered and they went gunned down. I know half a dozen cases. Many of them. If you read newspaper, आप Google में जाके देखें मालूम कराएंगे. They gun down. So you should be very careful in such matters. I mean, dishonesty will not pay you at all.
It's
But
not
an
a.
honest
It's not,
man, if you are honest and if your credentials are very good and clean, nobody will touch you. Even a criminal will not touch you. They will in fact respect you and go, okay, this man is upright and honest. He doesn't cheat us. That is you should create a good image when you become a lawyer. Otherwise, for a lawyer to become successful and earn money, there are so many ways. But don't run for easy money, cheap money, and
yes.
undeserving money. Be
Right.
happy with the do waqti roti and a clean image and clean reputation. That will fetch you a lot of money.
Yes. So it's not a violent profession, no?
Not at all. Not. It's a beautiful profession. All of you should take it, including all the women lawyers. According to me, it's a beautiful profession, which gives you a lot of respectability, a lot of immense enjoy. You get happiness you will receive, but you have to work very hard. The kind of practice I am doing, you have to. I mean, I am enjoying the hard work. I am a voracious reader, at least 16 to 17 hours a day. I am working hard. And of course, I take break in a week's time. I go to my farm and Lonavala, वो अलग बात है. 15 days में. अभी pandemic time, I'm reading, I think, even you'll find me 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. I'm reading, learning. I see the various channels of USA, UK, and read about them. Interesting it is. And read the law, read the history, geography. As Chief Justice Bobde said yesterday, if you want to be a good lawyer and not a carpenter and not a mason, want to be a complete lawyer and architect, read everything. Read history, geography, anthropology beside law. All laws. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So, but he's been replaced. No, sir. We have a new CJI.
He's not replaced. He retired.
Yes.
Justice Ramanna is the Chief Justice of India now. He
Yes.
will be, yes.
So, what is your opinion of him, sir? It's very good.
Yeah, very good. He is the judge who has passed many commendable judgments, and we are giving him an opportunity. He is the one who restored 4G connection internet in Kashmir. He said, "No, isn't it? This is the right to life of students, everybody during exam time." And when the 144 proceedings under IPC was invoked, he said that it is illegal. It is a violation of the fundamental rights. You read his beautiful judgment, and he has taken a good stand. Yes, he is totally not pro-government.
He will fix the system, sir.
His judgment was balancing, and I was happy with reading 2-3 judgment at least, because a very courageous judgment, very courageous in the light of the fact that in the present circumstances, you read on the net, they are available. Justice Ramanna judgment पढ़ के देखिए आप 4G के लिए, it's a fundamental right under Article 21, and he has successfully said the government has no right to impose 144 action. This is illegal all the time. वो CA के टाइम के ऊपर भी कश्मीर में, इंडिया में, he passed 3-bench judgment is there. Ramanna, a very courageous judge. Okay, let us see.
So you think Justice Chandrachud will also become Chief Justice?
Yes, 100%. He will be having the longest term for more than 2 years, and he is one of the finest judges, and we'll be very lucky to have him. Bold judge. Yeah. Next, आ जाइए अभी. Presumption as to dowry death. It's a question often asked here. Dowry death is very common. पढ़े हैं ना आपने 113.
Yes, within 7 years it is.
Yeah, 113 में आ जाइए 113. That is all the presumption that take place. 113 में दिखाई यहाँ पे 113B. That section also, I think we read out initial stages, and again for the sake of brevity, repetition, or but yeah, that is immediately page 113. 113B है ना ये? Yes, I'll just check it. Yes, immediately after birth during child के बाद है, then cessation. Yes, presumption as to dowry death 113B. When the question is whether a person has committed a dowry death of a demand and it is shown that soon before the death such a woman has been subjected to cruelty or harassment or connection with demand of dowry, the court shall presume that such person has caused the dowry death. So even under the IPC section 498 में check करेंगे आप, that is the an offence, a person committing a woman committing suicide within 7 years of time, it is presumed to be a dowry death case. Okay, this is a section, you remember, 113B. Yeah. Next is what is conclusive proof? So may presume, shall presume, conclusive proof, isn't it? That is section 4 में. Section 4 में लिखा गया, लेकिन section 4 has to be read along with section 41, isn't it? Relevancy of certain document in probate and jurisdiction. Again, open 41. A final judgment, order, decree of the competent court in exercise of a probate, matrimonial, admiralty, insolvency jurisdiction, which confers upon the law, takes away any person legal character and declare any person to be entitled to such character, to be entitled to any specific thing, not as against the specific, but shall be so and so. The existence of such character, title to the person is relevant. Such judgments, order, decree is conclusive proof. Please note that. When conclusive proof is mentioned to you, you have to give example little. Huh? A decree passed by a matrimonial court. Suppose husband and wife के proper family court gave a decree that A and B are no more husband and wife. If upon the death of the wife and the gentleman files a suit and claim her property, her relatives come and say that he cannot claim property. He is no more he was not a husband. He cannot invoke the provisions of Hindu Succession Act for claiming right. There's a decree of divorce. So a decree of divorce is conclusive. Unless he takes up the plea that it's a fraudulent decree. In many cases, the women have taken such a stand. My husband has produced before the court a consent decree, which I never went to court for signing it. So tomorrow, what happened after signing the consent decree? He remarries somebody. So under section 44 of the Evidence Act, you can invoke a fraud and say that. Normally, conclusive evidence cannot be challenged in India. May presume evidence can be challenged, shall presume can be, you can lead evidence. When something is a conclusive evidence, you are not permitted to lead evidence, that is a closure, door are closed. Unless section 44 you press, that is fraud. Fraud vitiates all transaction. So this is one example of shall. It is a, you open section 4 please, come back to section 4. 4 has three items: may presume, shall presume, conclusive proof. See, conclusive proof, when one fact is declared by this act to be conclusive proof another, the court shall on proof of the proof of one of the fact regard the other proved and shall not allow evidence to be given for the purpose of disproving it. So when the plaintiff or defendant has produced a certified copy of the family court decree, the marriage resolved, you are not permitted to examine the witness in the village or the place that this they have this marriage, this is illegal. No. You cannot give contrary evidence. But whereas in the case of may presume, shall presume, under 114 and section 79 to 90, you can give evidence of may presume, shall presume. You can rebut. But something which is declared conclusive, you will not be allowed to give. A person has been declared to be insolvent by the Bombay High Court or IBC court. Insolvent ho gaya and nobody has challenged it. And tomorrow you cannot file a suit against him for recovery of the money against the insolvent. Then the procedure followed under the IBC to be followed, or formally under the provisions of Presidency and Provincial Insolvency Act, which is now abolished, repeal in the wake of IBC. Isn't it? All of you know that here. So when a decree is passed by a competent court of law or a high court, district court, now the company law, the company court under the IBC or the debt recovery court also can pass a decree, then it's final. So conclusively, you cannot be permitted to lead evidence. It is a final thing. That is one example under section 41. 4 judgments of the decree, final decree. They are not interlocutory orders. Finally concluded judgment by passing, recording evidence. The court has finally given opportunity, hearing and merit. Number 1. Then second illustration of a conclusive proof is which we have gone is a section 112. But during marriage, conclusive proof of legitimacy. So the husband, if the women, husband and wife, during the continuation of the valid marriage, then between the mother and this man, she met a man, if a person is born within 280 days after the dissolution, 280 days is a dead mark. So even after divorce is obtained, after divorce ke baad, dissolution ke baad, if he is born within 280 days, the law presumes that here the child born to the wife is from the former husband from whom dissolution has taken place. But यहाँ पे there's a hitch. That man may take up the plea that during the relevant period of 280 days or little earlier, I never had access to my wife. I never had sexual intercourse. So it is not my child. Of course, that is why we have DNA cases. Years of examination, evidence is led. So that is what the husband has to show. I never had access. If the husband doesn't lead evidence, it's a conclusive proof that the child born is a legitimate one. These 2 sections under the Evidence Act determine the conclusive nature. Third one is 113, that is a notification in the official gazette that the portion of the British territory before the commencement of Part 3 of the Government of India Act has been ceded to the native state, prince, ruler, shall be conclusive proof and valid cessation of the territory took place at the demand mentioned. So you all know that here under the Government of India Act at the time prior to the Constitution of India came, there were more than 600 states which were ruled by Rajas and Maharajas and various people. You know that we have Gujarat, there was many states were known as by the name, by various Maharajas.
Junagadh.
Yes, Junagadh, all these places, Nizam of Hyderabad and Pratap Rao, Pratang, so and many of them. 600 states has the kings and all, the Maharajas were ruling it here. So when India became independent, the State Reorganization Act was passed here. All these Rajas and Maharajas and Nawabs, they merged their territories into the Government of India. So the date of merger and that is called cessation of a territory. So they cease to be the owner of the property and they begin. That we have a Privy Purse case, and when you read the Constitution of India, you must have read in the first year.
Yes. So the abolition of privy purses, was that legal, sir? And should that have been done?
Correctly, so nothing wrong in it, because you cannot be, few people cannot be holding money in the hands lifelong. That is against the spirit of the directive principles of state policy. There must not be concentration of wealth in few hands. It must subserve the common good. It's a correct judgment, nothing wrong in it.
But they made treaty with the Indian government, and on that promise only they gave it.
They have been given certain privileges, even they are still enjoying it. But Privy Purse has been rightly rightly taken away by the then Indira Gandhi's government. That's the debate. So here the question is under 113, when the territory of a Raja, Maharaja, Nawab is seized and merged into the Indian territory, and it's a conclusive proof. Except, of course, that time the Kashmir ka Maharaja did not want to merge with India. 1947 ke andar. You know that, na? Raja
Yeah,
Singh.
Hari Singh.
Yes, he did not want to merge it.
Yeah. And
Even
that's
Nizam
why
of
we are,
Hyderabad does not want to join it. But ultimately he agreed persuasion. Say another Maharajas agreed here. Um, Gaikwad of Gujarat also accepted. Everybody accepted, all these Maharajas, except the Kashmir, because that was a burning problem, unfortunately, now, which has been now resolved by the present government. वो अलग बात है. So whatever cessation of the territory took place, of course, ये section is redundant now, but चलता है. Nobody was going to question.
so
Nobody.
this
See, even the international court has no right to interfere in the territorial dispute of India and Pakistan or any other neighboring country. Unless
yes,
both the parties go to the court with consent, international court comes into play. So this section is a weak. Indian court cannot try the dispute between India and Pakistan, nor Bangladesh, nor anybody else. So who will question it? India can neither you will question nor will question, nor any children of Maharajas question. So this question, this is added 113, maybe in the hope that here the children of Raja Maharajas will file a suit for declaration that this is a separate property of my forefathers.
yes,
That will not happen. Okay. That is
so
the
abrogation of Article 370 was the right legal procedure, sir.
That is a disputed question. Whether according to the present government, it is correct. According to the many learned constitutional lawyers, it is not correct. That's a disputed question. Let the Supreme Court decide now. The matter is pending. Let us not burn our fingers talking about something which is not totally disposed of. Let the court give a final approval. The matter is now pending. Let it be decided. I will only comment when the judgment is given, not before.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Let us see. Because we'll discuss only matters which have been disposed of finally by the Supreme Court, invoking Article 141, okay, which is binding. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So,
Yeah.
sir, for conclusive proof other than fraud, there is no other hope, sir.
No
You
other
cannot
hope.
challenge.
Yeah, you can challenge it. Take up the plea. The fraud has been committed. So in the case of a husband, he can take up the plea. I was not in India at the time when the conception took place. I was in Dubai. I was in UK. I was studying there. I was in employment. How can she conceive my child? It is not my child. तो इसीलिए वो भी DNA DNA test they are quite conclusive. The courts are resorting to conclusive. That is they are proving it here. So so one of the interesting matters in such matters, I think I whether I told you or not, in the High Court when I was a young lawyer in the about 90s की बात है, earlier बात है. So one such matters of a Muslim family, the Muslim gentleman, a rich prosperous businessman from UP, he was doing business at the Crawford Market. Half a dozen children, a first wife and the second wife he had in Bombay, she had no children. And the second wife adopted the one son from her sister's son. Under the Islamic law, you know that here, adoption is not valid. So such a matter came up for trial in Bombay High Court, and the solicitor concerned, he had gone to some senior advocate, people like Rafiq Dada and Mushala, because who are good in Islamic law. They had no time for some reason. I was a young advocate. They suggested my name. So the solicitor came and asked me, will you take up this matter? I was very happy because it would be my first trial conducting in the High Court, because we normally trials are not conducted. And the matter was before Justice Baum, who was an eminent judge who knows trial very well. She was the principal judge of the City Civil Court before elevation to High Court. So when the matter came up before Justice Baum, I was to cross-examine this lady whether that she a suit for partition of a Muslim family, the suit for administration. The first 5 children had filed a suit against her for a declaration that after their father's death, the husband's death, the property goes to her. Under the Islamic law, this share and her share is 1/4. Under the 1/4, they will take 1/8. And the child adopted by her will not get under the Islamic law, no adoption. But she took up the plea that son whom she has adopted is the real son from her husband. It's a very interesting question. So there were proceedings pending between the family, both in city civil court and high court. City civil court, certain injunction, so some receiver was appointed for collection of rent from the various properties. Then I was to cross-examine the solicitor who was briefing me, Shroff and Company, Mr. Narayan Swamy. He told me the facts of the case, and the clients also held. I made inquiries my own, and I told him to ascertain. She claims it is her child. The court will be sympathetic to her. She is an elderly lady of 70, and the court will have sympathy for her, but we'll make our inquiries. But the children told me, yes, she never conceived. My father was not alive at the time. You could not examine him. So it was I did my research as done in many matters. So I told them to get me the certified copies of Rosenama of everything. So in the cross examination, I asked certain question to her, very very disturbing question, which she was not very happy. Then I asked her first, and please tell the honorable court in which year you got conceived. I mean, got pregnant. She was startled. No woman would like this question being asked in the open court. Justice Baum is a very seasoned judge who understood the question. I asked her, can you please tell which year, which month you were conceived and when delivery took place? After 7 months, 8 months, 9 months, and which place? She told me delivery took place at Lucknow, not in Bombay. I asked her the year and month, she could not remember. And no, yes, she gave me the date in this particular month and so place and so. Then I asked her, because I had done research in the matter, the city civil court proceeding, Bombay High Court proceeding, and before the court receiver. In the Rosenamas, I took out here clearly that it is the practice of the court receiver's office. The parties who remain present, they will sign the muster roll. They had to sign present. So the date which she was given me, that he was born, that she gave delivery in Lucknow, and I asked her, for how many months you remained there? For 3 months. After 3 months I came. So I contradict her. I told her, whether there are litigation between you and your family in the city civil court and court receiver proceeding, yes. Do you used to participate there? Sometime yes, sometime no. So at the time, when was your last visit? When you went to delivery, did you appear? No, you could not appear. Then I pointed out here exactly when she said on the delivery date she was in Lucknow, that was in contradiction with the report of the receiver's office, where she was present. When I pointed out to her, she got wild at me, and Justice Baum she was abusing me in the court, that the truth is come out. Why you are asking me question about delivery, conception and all this? She was abusing in Urdu language. Then Justice Baum is a very seasoned judge who knows herself trial. She calmed her down and warned her, if you don't answer the counsel's question, I will take you for contempt. Then I successfully proved before the court that the witness is a liar. Because it is not, no conception record she has produced, no delivery record, hospital record she has produced, and the date which she has given she was in Lucknow is in contradiction and with the report of the court receiver's office, which is maintained by the High Court, which is the public record. Public records would not lie. We won the matter that. On that point we won the matter. We proved that it was not a child. So that is how it is. Then after the end of the trial, Justice Baum, I was so happy as a young lawyer. She paid a huge compliment to me. Young man, you conducted the trial so well. Where did you learn the trial? She asked me a question, whose junior you are first? When I gave her, no, I was not in the High Court, I was in the lower court. Tell me the name of your senior. When I took Mr. Amin Nathani, who was my senior, yes, I know Amin very well. No wonder you're conducting the trial so well. Because I came from a trial background. So that is very gratifying when a judge pays you compliment and when you win the case on such basis. So try to master the Evidence Act, because that time my mastery also very equally good that time, because I was reading section 145, 146, 154 press chaos. And we did research. I told the client I want all the certified copies and dates of Rosenama. I sent the man to Lucknow to find out from the hospital. I said, hospital exists in Aini. You know that the school record, she could not even produce. Did your child go to school? Did your husband go there? Nahi. Padani. Which school he went to? School record, he was not giving me. I would have summoned the school record. to find out who the father's name is. That is how you have to make these researches. So your presumption we can dislodge here.
So उस time पे there were no DNA tests, sir.
Pardon?
That time there were no DNA tests.
DNA test के लिए the husband should have been there. Husband was not alive. No, you're dead.
Yes.
They will test it. Yes.
And so how would you have conducted a trial if you are from the opposite party, if you were not, just so that we understand what to do better. So if you are the lawyer for that lady instead of your client, how would you have done things differently, sir?
It's a very interesting question. I would have done differently. I would have told the client something. The client is wrong. I would tell her, compromise the matter, settle the matter, will go against you. In many matters, wherever I found if our case is not correct and we are likely to lose, I will tell the client, get the matters compromised. You are likely to lose. That is normally my stand, and I will not put up a wrong evidence before the court. Your image will be tarnished.
Yes, sir.
You should not do that.
Yes,
when
sir.
you think you have no evidence, your client is lying, you tell your client, stop lying, otherwise I will return your brief. You have to first cross-examine your own client. Find out whether your client is telling the truth or not. But it was very gratifying for me for having won this trial, and I was so thankful to Rafiq Dada, senior advocate, for referring my name to conduct this trial. So from that time, everybody come to know in the court that this man can conduct trial. Many people approach me with trial matters. That is how it happens. That's very gratifying. Yes. Yes. Next question, you come down. So 112 is clear. What we are? When entries in the books of account are relevant. Anybody know the section? कितने बार discuss किए हम लोग? Section 34. Right? So you all keep on saying that even before I say I'll be happy. Section 34 देख लीजिए दोबारा. Entries in a books of account, including those maintained in the electronic form regularly kept in the course of business, are relevant whenever they refer to matter in which the court has to inquire, but such statement shall not alone be sufficient to charge any person with liability. That means it requires corroboration under section 157. Your entries will not be accepted as a gospel truth just because you have made the entries. Substantiate your bank entries with the report from the bank, with your books. Suppose in the normal course, you write, substantiate it with your income tax returns. Entry from the paisa kahan se nikal ke diye kisko. Source of your income. All should be given. Suppose you will say that I had lent my good friend of childhood days 1 lakh rupee during his marriage time. It was a friendly loan without any documentation. He promised to return to me, did not return. वो पैसा नहीं दिया आपको, मर गया हो, and the children will take up the plea, we don't know who you are. Isn't it? You had maintained the entries, books of account के अंदर. That you will show, number one, you will show the money was given on account of the marriage in the family. Marriage का proof बताइए. I was invited. We were good friends in the school days. Show the school record. That is all corroboration. And show how the money you withdrew from the bank. Go to the bank and bank a certificate निकालिए. Under the Bankers Evidence Act, certificate is valid. You can prove it. So this is all corroboration under section 157 of the Evidence Act. So यहाँ पे देखिए, A sues B for 1,000 rupees and shows entries in the books of account showing B to be indebted to him to his amount. The entries are relevant but are not sufficient without other evidence to prove the debt. So other evidence here, for example, ये पैसा कहाँ से आया आपके पास से? Even section 138 of the Negotiable Instrument Act say that your check is bounced. वो check bounce, check का amount क्या वास्ते दिया? It is for enforceable legal liability. It must be enforceable legally. Something, an amount which is given charity, you cannot enforce under 138. So similarly, under the books of account, you have to mention to the court, though I maintain my diary return here, ये पैसा मैंने कहाँ से लाया, withdraw किया था. I withdrew from the bank. I took from my child, my son, my daughter. I had kept it in my holder. So corroborated. I have even shown, reflected this amount in the income tax returns.
Sir, what if you're not taking money from the bank, you're giving cash? Then how do you prove it, sir?
Prove how the cash came into your hand. It's a decent amount, no? Not 10 rupees or 1 rupee, 100 rupees, 1 lakh rupee or 2 lakh rupee, maybe 10 lakh. You have to inform the court. You are not supposed to keep black money in your house. How the money came? Say, I sold my jewelry. Isn't it? That is how we say that in Sridhana cases. The cash is come in the hand of a wife. The Sridhan from the sale of a jewelry. Entries are shown in the normally bank account mein, of your income tax returns mein. So when a client comes and tells you that class transaction, show entries, show the proof. You are not supposed to hold black money stack at your house. There must be withdrawal from the entry from the bank. Isn't it? Or sale of some items in your family. Polo agricultural items I sold, my land, trees, mangoes, which are exempted under the Income Tax Act under Section 11. You are not liable to pay income tax on agricultural items if you are an agriculturalist. There are many people who are exempted, isn't it? There are many items. So that you should be able to know. Just because you are practicing in civil law, that doesn't mean that you should not know Income Tax Act. You should know that. That is why I tell you, you should be master in all. You should know कि exemption कहाँ मिलता है, आपको कहाँ नहीं मिलता है. समझे ना आप?
Yes, sir.
So you will be able to substantiate this. So consult your CA. CA will tell you. He will create the bank entries and pay taxes on your behalf. If entry is created, that becomes legitimate. So you will be in a position to corroborate the bank entry. So mere entry in your what you call diary is not sufficient. Your words are not sufficient. But this will become more strong under 134 when a person dies. Under Section 32. Isn't it? पढ़े ना आपने? Entries,
yes, sir.
32(2) के अंदर. When a person dies and entries he has made, that becomes like a dying declaration. A dying statement of a man is more believed. He will not make a wrong statement. Now, that is more evidentiary value is increased. समझे ना आप?
Yes, sir. So what happens for a time barred debt? It is not legally enforceable, no, sir. So that there you cannot enforce check bouncing case. You cannot do, no, sir.
Which cases? Pardon?
So if it's a time barred debt and you issue a check and then the check bounces, it's not legally enforceable. So you cannot.
Yes, you have to see the provisions of Section 468 in CRPC. Within what period you can file a criminal case? 1 year, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. They can 468, 469, पढ़ो 471, 472 CRPC पढ़े ना आपने? There's a separate limitation act created in CRPC, and for civil cases under the Indian Limitation Act, within 3 years from the date of the cause of action. Okay.
But the NI Act won't apply, no, sir, because it's not legally enforceable.
No, NI Act में again you are filing a criminal case, the CRPC will apply. Section 468. 468, 469, 470, 71, 72 will apply. Everything there's a limitation, unless it is a recurring offense. But check bouncing is not a recurring offense. Somebody slapped you, abusing you is a recurring offense. But daily गाली दे रहा है. Abusing me every day is a recurring offense. Nuisance is committed every day is a nuisance, and it's a recurring offense. What are recurring offenses? You will come to know in Section 471 CRPC. वो पढ़ चुके हैं आपने. Okay. Is that clear? Yes, we can stop after 1 hour. We began at 6:15. 7:15 को break लेंगे. Then we again.
It's already 7:25, sir.
We'll stop now. We'll take a small break for chai. Then we'll start.
Yes,
okay?
Okay, sir.
I don't want to bore you all. Have a nice coffee.
No, sir. We don't even come to know how time passes, sir.
ठीक है. एक break ले लो. Short break.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay? Okay.
Yes.